My name's Geoff Reynolds. I like to claim that I danced from the first day I was born because movement is such an integral part of my life that it's really hard to pinpoint like the first time I danced or when I danced. Family had a little performing combo that I participated in growing up all the way through my whole entire life, growing up as a kid, and so singing and dancing and acting was just something all my family did. I was the youngest of 5, so I got to see a lot of examples, and that was my childhood, so I didn't really know much else. So I started training actually as a clogger. That was my first professional dance training, is clogging. And there was a local studio in town where I kind of grew up, and it's called Liberty Cloggers, and I started competing with them as I got older. And then when I got into junior high, there's a lot of access to arts in schools growing up as kids where I grew up, which is kind of unheard of in the rest of the world. But I had access to that, and so I had dance classes in school, had ballroom. I was on the ballroom team in junior high and high school, did musical theater productions as well, which I got a lot of training through that. And I didn't start training professionally until I was in college. There was a teacher that taught modern dance at BYU that was pretty integral to the program there, and she would teach teachers how to teach modern dance. And so I was best friends with her daughter growing up as a kid, so she'd always pull me in as an example of showing how to teach in class. So I came basically and did rolls across the floor, skipping, hopping, leaping, jumping, running, all that stuff that they train modern dancers to teach, and I was kind of the guinea pig for that as a kid. And so I think that was another type of training that I got without knowing about it. It was kind of always easy and natural for me, because as I kind of grew up and in that kind of home and environment, that's all I knew. And so I was like, oh, well, that's easy, I can do that. And as I got to high school, I fell in love with musical theater, especially theater, and I got the bug, I got bitten by the bug, and knew that that's something I really loved. And so I just pursued that, and when I got to college, I made it into MDT, Music Dance Theater at BYU, and I made it into Young Ambassadors my freshman year of college, which was kind of unheard of. There wasn't that many that were getting it as freshmen. And it was just easy, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. When I came back from serving an LDS mission, I kind of questioned, do I really want to do this? And so I went through this funk period of, I'm not sure performing arts is for me, and that's when I added a teaching degree, a theater education teaching degree on as well. But I was sitting in music, dance, theater history class, and I was learning about Jerome Robbins, and I was learning about some of those legendary director choreographers, and I was like, that's it, I want to be a director choreographer. I felt that passion there in college and thought, this is exactly what I want to do with this. That's really hard. A lot of people say, well, what's your strongest? Are you a better dancer, a better singer, a better actor? When I went to high school, there was a legendary Sid Riggs that taught at Orem High School. And she was all about being triple threat. And we really trained you at that school to be all 3 triple threat. So I've always, since high school, I've always really focused on perfecting all 3 of them. And I would say I could do all of them equally well. My true passion is directing. If I could do anything else in the world, I would just direct shows all day long. I took a long time, for about 10 years, where I worked freelance as just a choreographer alone. And I did have a lot of experience doing that, but I really love direction more than choreography even. So that would be my expertise, I would say, is direction. I would say I've lived a very full life in performance, both directing behind the scenes as well as on stage as a performer. We were on tour in Brazil, and we performed for over 45,000 people. This venue was huge, and they were going crazy and wild. And it was so thrilling and so impactful for me as a performer. Or watching something of my creations, like directing or choreographing, see it come to life. I had visioned that, I had planned that, and there it is, happening in real time, in real life, and it's beautiful and amazing. So there's moments like that too that I just find really gratifying. Watching something and saying, I helped contribute to that, I helped create that. I thought of that creatively in my brain, and here it is, on stage being represented. I think there's always self-doubt for artists. That's something that can really attack us and plague us, feeling like I'm not enough, or I can't do this or that, right? And so I feel like my life has been a constant process of reminding myself that I can do things and I can make a difference, that my art matters. The other thing is, I think, one of the things I didn't realize graduating from college, thinking about doing the arts, is how much of an entrepreneur I had to be. And so another area of things that I've had to grow and learn from is I've had to learn business skills. I've had to learn how to market myself as a performer, how to be an entrepreneur and realize that I am my business and I have to put my best foot forward. It's also growing up in a culture where art is appreciated and expected for free makes it really hard to be a business. And I'm tired of the conversation as an artist myself of, oh, well, you're an artist, shouldn't you just do that? I'm like, well, you're a manufacturer, that's the gift that you've been given, can't you just do that for free? And so I think having that conversation of noticing that, like, this is a real profession. Artists should be paid just like any other profession, and that service that they're offering is valuable, and like any other service that anybody provides. So I think that's been the hardest thing for me to learn, is how to negotiate and walk that line. Raging Red is an awesome group here at Dixie State University. It's super cool. They have the opportunity to song and dance, to recruit students to the university, to spread the Dixie spirit among the community and internationally, and really show a good sample size, kind of the face for the university, a sample size of what the student body looks like, what kind of classes they're taking in college, how to prepare and get ready for college. And I think as Raging Red, we have that opportunity to go out to many different schools, to perform in so many different kinds of venues and bring a greater awareness of what Dixie State and what they have to offer. Now that I'm here sitting in this seat doing what I do, I think I would add to that a little bit more, not only just knowing business skills and learning how to promote yourself and market yourself as a performer, but if you have a passion, if you have a desire, if you have hope to do something, keep that alive in any way you can. If you're really passionate about the arts, then find a way to fund that. There's options there to fund it. Believe in yourself enough to know that you have what it takes and you can do it.